to move on. Now, here's a story we've been covering for something like the last 5 years, and it still won't go away. I'm talking about the stink at Walleys Quarry Tip, which is in the Newcastle-under-Lyme constituency of our guest today, Aaron Bell. Now, despite a long-running Stop the Stink campaign, complaints about the smell are on the rise again. For the first time since the end of June, the Environment Agency received more than 100 of them in a one-week period in October. I spoke to campaigner Steve Meakin about the odour, which got particularly bad again last weekend.
There's no other word for it. It was horrendous. It was totally unbearable to be here. The smell was absolutely toxic. It was affecting your eyes and nose, the breathing. It was vile. All through the house, it was a rotten egg smell, as it always is. And no matter where you went, whether you were inside or outside, it was attacking you. And that is the word I'm using. You know, it was attacking us. It was vile. It peaks in summer and it peaks in winter, more so in winter. You get a frosty night, you know you're going to wake up and you're going to be suffering in the morning. I fear for the future of young children, what effect it's going to have on their life. You know, I'm 72 now, and I've got grandchildren, and there's lots of people around here with young children that are being affected. And what is the long-term effect? Nobody knows. But I'm damn certain we'll find out very soon. Emotionally, it's awful, you know, not just for myself. You know, I love the community I'm in. We've got a lovely community around here. It's quiet, people look after each other, and we're being poisoned. I beg the MPs, Aaron Bell, and the people above Aaron Bell, the Environment Minister, please give the Environment Agency the kick up the backside and the power that they need. We feel they've got no teeth at all.
That's Steve Meakin there, who lives near Walleys Quarry. Aaron Bell, he says the Environment Agency have got no teeth.
Well, I first of all pay tribute to Steve and Graham Eagles and people like Dr Mick Salt, everyone in the Stop the Stink campaign. They've been doing a fantastic job, and I've been backing them up ever since I've been their MP. I'm afraid he's right about the Environment Agency. It's not that they don't have the powers, they seem to lack the courage to use them. They've got 2 investigations into the company open, 1 regulatory, 1 criminal. 3 years in a row now, this company, the operator who are ultimately responsible, have been put in Band F, the worst possible banding. And on the strength of all the breaches the Environment Agency have identified at Walleys Quarry, a prosecution of the company is well overdue. That's what I'm calling for. Now, the Environment Agency is an arm's length body. You can't politically direct them to prosecute, but they need to get on with it.
You did ask the Prime Minister last month, you urged him to get a grip on the failing organisation, as you described the Environment Agency. Have you seen any action?
Well, 100%. They were failing, and you haven't mentioned it in the clip, but they've just had to admit that they've been getting the figures wrong from the monitoring stations, which they only put in at mine and the leader of the council, Simon Tagg's, urging. They've had to admit that all of their monitoring stations, not just the ones at Walleys, but nationwide, have been undercounting the hydrogen sulphide, the stinky gas, by a factor of 2 to 3 for the last 7 years. They're an organisation that is, clearly failing people, and everybody in Newcastle-under-Lyme and I have lost confidence in them. Now, there's a new chief executive who I am more impressed by, I have to say, and he needs to get a grip on his people, and he needs to direct them to apologise to the community, to put those numbers right, and to urge his people to conclude those investigations so we can see a prosecution of this company for the damage they've done to my constituents.
OK, well, we did ask the Environment Agency to come on to the programme. They declined. They sent us a statement, which I'll read in just a moment. But here's what they told us about a month ago.
So we're regularly visiting this site. We are absolutely inspecting it more regularly than we would expect to for this kind of operator in response to the problems that we've seen here. And Walleys Quarry Limited is challenging us every single time we ask it to do something over the last couple of years. But our teams are focused on that. They are taking that forward. They're getting the operator to make those changes.
Well, the Environment Agency did tell us they issued an enforcement notice on the 19th of October. Walleys Quarry themselves say there are fluctuations in emission levels due to cold weather, but they remain within World Health Organisation guidelines. I mean, Public Health England say this gas, this hydrogen sulphide, is very toxic.
Yeah, I mean, you got Claire Dennis there. She's off to a new job in the new year. She's been doing this role at the Environment Agency as Regional Director for the last 3 years. She still hasn't brought forward a prosecution, and now we're getting into winter. We're seeing the levels rising again, when we were told, off the back of the capping and the extra wells that have been put in, which the Environment Agency did mandate, and under pressure from myself and others, levels have been falling. It was much, much worse in 2021, but it isn't acceptable as it is now, and the Environment Agency need to get a kick up the backside.
Okay, just briefly, Peter Snape, I know this isn't in your area, but in all your experience, you must have come across situations like this with environmental hazards close to where people live.
Yes, I feel sorry for the people concerned. But again, the Environmental Agency, like every other public body, has been hollowed out over the past 13 years. If you keep reducing the money available to these institutions, they won't be able to do the job properly. Now, that's a fact. I listen to Aaron, I feel sorry for him, it's his constituency. But, we've had 13 years of the
They've made it clear. They've made it clear repeatedly that the finance is not an issue here. It's the legal threats, and they're unwilling to use the powers that they do have.
Okay,
I can't believe that either. But
we'll have to leave that there. An issue we will no doubt come back to. Now, though, the House of Lords.